Hey guys, Tori here from Pratt Standard Cocktail Company, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the value of different ice sizes, how to select different ice sizes for different styles of cocktails, why use a sphere versus a smaller cube, what it does to your cocktail, and then also how to keep ice and what's actually important about ice, because ice is a super crucial ingredient in cocktails. So cocktails came about because of the existence of transportable ice, not because of the existence of booze. Booze has been around for thousands of years, but cocktails only really came about in the last couple hundred, mostly as a way for women to drink in bars and restaurants. So we weren't allowed to have straight whiskey when we went out to bars, we'd only have beer. But they, at that time, just started to have ice blocks basically transported into bars and restaurants so that they could keep things cold. And then put it in an ice box, which is now what we know as a refrigerator. And so some woman said, well, what if I take a piece of ice off of that block and then I stick it into my whiskey? That'll basically make it watered down, right? So then I can drink it and it wouldn't be uncouth. And apparently a lot of people agreed with her. So one of the first cocktails is actually considered whiskey on the rocks. Ice is super crucial in cocktailing because ice adds a couple of things to a cocktail. It can be a ingredient that helps things mix. So imagine when you're shaking a cocktail, the ice helps it mix. It also can provide dilution, which is really important in cocktails. And then most importantly, something that you guys probably already recognize, it adds chill to cocktails. So cocktails, the vast majority of them are cold. Some of them are warm, but for the most part, they are cold. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about why ice is important and what types of ice you should make. And if you want to see more videos like this, please let us know, comment below, and let us know what kind of videos you guys do want to see. And I can teach you more about cocktailing.
Alright guys, so let's talk about 4 different types of shape of ice, and then different cocktails that you might want to use them for. So starting over here, I've got crushed ice, so I just have a mallet here in place of it because if I made it right now, it would basically melt immediately. But I can show you if you guys want in a future video. Let me know if you want to learn how to make crushed ice, because that's a really fun thing to do, especially if you've got stress in your workday and you want to do something else with your time. And then I've got some standard ice that I froze off of some filtered water from our house. I have a little bit larger ice cubes, so these are, I think, 1.5 or 2-inch cubes. And then I have a sphere here. So a lot of people have probably seen these before. These can be really fun for really fancy cocktails, but let me tell you why you would use each different size and why ice size can be important in a cocktail. So ice size is important in a cocktail because ice is related to the amount of dilution and chill that will end up in the cocktail. So the smaller the ice cube, the more surface area there is compared to the large ice cubes where a sphere has the least surface area. Less surface area means there's actually less of the ice in contact with the liquid, so it won't keep it as cold on this end as it would on crushed ice. Imagine the brain freeze you get from a icy. You're not getting that from your old fashioned that comes with the big ice sphere in it. But the other benefit to that is maybe you don't want your cocktail super cold, but you want it less in contact with the alcohol, because the alcohol is what's going to wick water off of the surface of the ice, because alcohol freezes at a lower point than water does. So you put alcohol with water or with a source of water like ice, and it will wick water off of the outside of the ice. The less surface area it has, like one of these, the more likely it is to end up with a less diluted cocktail. So if you're worried about dilution in your cocktail, so things like old fashions, Negronis, things like that, you want to use one of these larger ice cubes in at the end. And then smaller ice cubes are good for getting things cold really, really fast and keeping them cold. So if you want them to be really, really cold, so things like tiki drinks do really well with crushed ice, or with smaller ice, because they tend to be relatively sweet. And so you want any really, really sweet cocktail usually to be served on crushed ice or something very, very small, because the colder it is, the less you're going to notice how sweet it is. Think about how if you have ice cream straight out of the freezer, it is really like perfect and delicious, but if you have it once it's warmed up a little bit, it actually gets too sweet for you often, and that's because it's warmer. It's the same sugar content in the whole thing, it's just that cold things taste less sweet. So that's why tiki drinks end up usually being served with crush ice or small ice. I get a lot of people asking me, I've been saving this like really awesome spherical cube for amazing cocktail. What should I do with it? And I'll say, probably throw it out, because a really good cocktail should have fresh ice. Fresh ice is actually way more important than having the right ice size, in my opinion. A lot of people, most of your ice is probably coming from your freezer, and when it comes from your freezer freezes it from the bottom up or the top down. So because it freezes it from the top down, it traps all these air bubbles in it, and those air bubbles will end up tasting like musty freezer air after a while. And so the older your ice is, the worse it is. I usually say use your ice within 3 to 4 days at most. And so make your ice cubes fresh. If you can, use large ice cubes for really boozy cocktails, and then tiki style drinks and long drinks and things like that, use smaller ice cubes for, and you're totally fine there. But the key is just rotate through your stuff. Now, perfectly clear ice is difficult to achieve. You can do it though. If you want me to do a video on how to do it, please, comment below, let me know what you want to see. Personally, I don't think it's actually worth the effort. I think it can add a beautiful element to a cocktail, but as long as your ice is relatively fresh, it won't add that much of a flavor component to your cocktail. And I'm about flavor first, presentation second. But I understand it might be important for some people, and I've definitely dabbled in it, so please ask if you want to see that too.
Okay, cheers guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And if you want to see any other videos, let us know. I want to answer any and all of your cocktail questions. Thanks for watching.